Oh, 11th grade health. Welcome. Sorry. I started a reading program and it may be below my grade average, but Dumbo, who can go wrong with him? What an elephant. I'm going to talk today to you and update you a little bit. And we're discussing alcohol. And I think that's a very important subject that we have to look at. And unfortunately, it affects so many families. And unfortunately, it also affects the Christian home. And to me, it is a very important thing because if you look at your alcohol fact sheet that I had put on the team page there, it's the number one drug problem with teenagers today. And usually, alcohol, if you start drinking before the age of 18, which if you look at some of the statistics, you're looking at anywhere from 14 to 15 years old. Children can be become very heavy drinkers in that. But if you start drinking before the age of 18, you can usually turn into a problem drinker and also be extended in with some other drugs there. Children of alcoholics, unfortunately, are 4 times as likely to become alcoholics themselves. Also, 14% of all adults who drink are problem drinkers in the United States. That meaning that they are alcoholics, that they need help to get over this drinking problem. It's just not a 1 or 2 drink a day thing. It is the flat out being an alcoholic and being dependent on that alcohol to get them through their daily lives. Drunken individuals are 4 times more likely to lose their temper and 6 times more likely to commit an act of violence. When we look at the statistics today and we see violent acts and we see DUIs and different things like that, the car wrecks, that vehicular homicide, and we can go on, the amount of alcohol that is involved in any of those, quite alarming. And drunk driving is the number one killer of teenagers. And we see different programs out there that try to educate teens against drunk driving. And unfortunately, it's a choice. And sometimes even 18, it is active within your youth group or active within a very good church, come from a very good Christian background with very good Christian parents, will at times make those bad choices, those dark choices, and choose alcohol over what they believe. And I find it so very important that as young people, you make that choice that you're going to just stay away from things like that. Make the good, healthy choice that you're not going to get wrapped up into that situation where it comes to drugs and alcohol or anything like that. And alcohol is a major cause in thousands of suicides and murders each year. That is a statistic to me that is quite staggering. Many times I've seen studies with both sides of the suicide and the homicide. And sadly, looking at the homicide part of it, about 80% of the people that have committed suicide have a alcohol content within their system. And also, as far as somebody who commits a homicide, a lot of times will be over the legal limit of alcohol when that crime is done. 27% of all drivers under 25 report that they have driven last year that they were intoxicated, that they had difficulty driving. Now that's 27% that would admit to that. And I think if you put everything else into the frame there, if you look at the people that are on their cell phones, people that are just being distracted one way or the other, maybe having friends in the car or whatever it is, I think you would be alarmed that how many wrecks are created and possibly how many lives are lost because of that. Young people are affected faster and more severely with alcohol than fully grown adults. And we will see that later on within this lesson as we go through this, that depending on your body style and your body makeup, how alcohol will affect that person. And it's easy, sadly, to see a young person have alcohol poisoning because of consuming too much alcohol. You see that a lot of times once they move away and get to that college life and the parties that are available and the freedom that comes with that. And what you have to understand being a young person is a lot of that freedom comes with great responsibility. And we have to remember that. In 2001, there were 1,482 alcohol-related deaths that were recorded on the records of college students in the United States. Now, those deaths are deaths that took place with this statistic at a college. Okay, more or less, it was an alcohol poisoning. Or alcohol and some other drug with an overdose, and they were not able to revive them in any way. Another point that I like to make today is high school students reported the biggest reason that they drink alcohol is because of peer pressure. And we've talked about this before in different classes, but you have peer pressure that you're dealing with. And sometimes you have very negative peer pressure. And you have to be able to figure out what you're going to do at that point. And we've talked about how sometimes we allow that peer pressure to affect us in what we do. And one thing that we're going to do automatically with peer pressure is either we're going to stay there and take it and feel that we do not fit in. We're going to flee. Okay, we're going to take off. We're not going to want to be around that peer pressure. Or we're going to listen to that peer pressure, and that's where teens will get in trouble because, let's say their friend may consume alcohol and they see their friend is fitting in. And the one thing we all want to do is always fit in. We never want to be that misfit. And what we see is they make the wrong choice. And this even happens within the Christian household. They make the wrong choice and they go with the alcohol. So that's something we're going to talk about. And as you go through today, I want you to really examine the PowerPoint, go over it, take some notes. And please feel free, if you do have any questions, email me or message me on our team page. And on Thursday, we'll have a little more of a lesson. And I know it says on the team page, this is all due by April 15th, but please ignore that. It was supposed to be past that, and I'm going to get on now as soon as I finish this video and change that up. I just pray that as we go on, that you see the importance of what we're talking about as far as the smoking and the alcohol and the drugs go. You can't make a better choice other than accepting Jesus as your Lord and Savior as to not get involved in any of these addictive substances that can really start ruling your life. And I think it's kind of funny when I talk to people, and the one thing that they want, and I know you're a normal teenager and you want that freedom. Everybody wants that freedom. They no longer want to be under the umbrella of mom or dad or anybody telling them what to do. They want to live by their own rules. And the thing that I find most amazing is people often forget when we are free, the responsibility that we hold. And as a young person, you're brought to these rules, be it your home, be it within the school atmosphere. There's rules there to kind of guide you, inform you. And as we mature, especially as Christians, as we mature and we look at our biblical standpoint, what we're standing for, our real belief system, uh, we have to form those around what God is telling us, the commands that He gives us. And we have to be very, very careful when it comes to the alcohol and the smoking and the drugs. We should just say no, but that's not always the easiest thing to do. So until Thursday, I just pray that you're doing well. Continue the good work, and I will adjust the due date on this as soon as I get off of here. You guys have a great day, and until Thursday, God bless.